What is going on, y'all? Josh in the house with my bearded brother from another mother, Mr. Mike Gormley, the naughty one himself. How's it going, Naughty? You doing all right?
What's up? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing tonight? It's all right, man. It's a good night. It's a Wednesday night, right around that holiday season, so everybody's in that holiday spirit. I'm just over here Scrooging McDucking it up, like y'all don't know. Man, listen,
Scrooge
working for the post
McDuckin, does
office.
that mean you don't have any pants on?
I got pants on. I just got in the door from work, but working for the post office really makes you hate the holidays. So
Ah,
we got
humbug.
packages coming through Tampa, Florida. I probably stepped on a couple of them. I'm just letting y'all know right now.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
and your Eagles lost, man. That
Yeah,
that was that was
we're not
tough.
even going to talk about that, bro. Like football weekend was a horrible weekend this weekend. The Dogs got left out of the playoffs. The Birds lost
Yeah.
their. It's just not a weekend to talk about sports.
What do you
It was my
mean?
fault, man.
It wasn't a horrible weekend for me. Michigan won. They're number one. They're going against Alabama. Detroit Lions won. So it's a
invited
great
Josh on
weekend
this
for
podcast?
me.
Michigan.
Who invited Josh on this podcast? I mean, didn't we vet him prior? Didn't we tell him that he can't talk smack about his teams if they won and ours lost?
I was just disappointed that Texas got left out. So Georgia didn't hold up their end of the bargain.
No.
But, I don't know, man. Like Texas getting left out. That's the only thing that bothered me. I'm like, you can't. Me as a Bulldogs fan, watching those guys this year, their defense was definitely down. And if the offense didn't have all their players because our offensive coordinator is just trash, it was what it was. So like I kind of saw it coming if everything didn't just hit just right and the worst happened and you had injuries and this, that, and the other thing, which, when you're playing those kind of teams, you just can't, you got to be at 100%. And, it was what it was. I mean, Alabama was the better team, but I don't know if they're better, even though Texas beat them. So, technically head to head, they're better. And then Florida State getting left out, Now, I don't think Florida State could beat Georgia, but I think Texas is
Listen,
capable.
there's a lot of people in Florida that are all right with Florida State being left out.
Yeah.
Go Canes, baby. Go Canes.
It is what it is. Hey, let's get on to what we got going on here. We've got Mr. Josh Halstead in the house from Adventures Ahead and
That's
also
right.
Real Dead.
Yeah, Real Dead, yes.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about that here shortly.
Yes.
One quick thing, just as a word of reminder, and everyone knows this, but this is a live stream podcast that will be taken down and put onto Spotify for later use. So we don't interact with the chat. However, our moderators are there. And if the opportunity presents itself, we will open up the floor for some questions that we'll throw over to Josh, but it may or may not happen. No promises.
Yeah, I'm good.
So anyway, Josh, so
Yeah.
let me tell you, man, so there's a few channels that I started watching, and Chastity, we both started watching as we were getting ready to start cruising.
Yeah.
And when we were considering a YouTube channel, and it's, you guys were one of them. And
Thanks.
we really appreciated the banter between you and Michelle and y'all's authenticity. And I think that's something cool about your channel. So,
yep.
Obviously, Michelle, she's busy, and that's all good. And
yes.
She gets tired of hearing your lies, from what I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. She's actually at work right now.
So, but how have things been, man? It's we're all pretty busy. So, we don't. It's like two ships passing in the night. Sometimes we're catching replays and stuff like that.
Yeah, definite. Everything's going good. I mean, we try to get our content out pretty fast, I think. But we don't put it out like day after day after day. We don't do that. We have like a schedule. We do Monday, Thursday, and then a live Saturday. That's our schedule for content for a week. Yeah. Usually a vlog on Thursday and then some kind of other review or something on Monday. And we've had that for a long time. I was trying to think. I was talking to Mike Lovelace earlier, and I was trying to think when we started our channel. I think it was 2017, or it might have been late 16, but I think it was 2017. And we just, it's just always been for fun. It's been a really good time. And I mean, definitely seeing the cruise community change a lot since 2017. I mean, if you looked up videos back in 2016 and 17, it was like a handful. There wasn't a lot of creators out there, to tell you the truth. There really wasn't.
Yeah, the cruising space back then was smaller.
Yeah, I think, like, if I remember right, like one of the bigger channels had like 40,000 subscribers. That was like a big cruise channel back then. So that just tells you like how much
you had a lot of old people like Lovey, that were, you just didn't have many young people like us. It was full of people like Mike Lovelace that just didn't understand YouTube, and some would say that Mike still doesn't understand YouTube. He only understands gimmicks.
So like,
yeah.
So the thing I would say about Mike is he doesn't understand how to just like make a video longer than 7 minutes and just make it one video. He's got to make like 40 videos.
Hey, he is the
so he is the stretch of video king for sure.
Yeah, definite. And I always tease him that. I'm like, Mike, I saw that footage in your last video, bro. I mean, how many times are you gonna reuse this footage? So
wait a minute. I'm getting something in here from the Lovelace bat phone.
Oh yeah, I'm assuming, yeah.
Yeah, let's see here. What did Mike just sent me? He says he's thinking about copywriting his food reviews because you guys have copied all of his food reviews.
Yeah, yep. And ask him who point blank told him your thumbnails suck, bro. You need to do something different with them. And guess who changed his thumbnail approach to look more like what we were doing, Mike. So there you go.
So like you were saying, right? So like back in 2017, the cruising space was smaller. So like those larger channels that you had back then, I think EECC at one point was like the largest one, and they had like 40,000. But I'm not gonna lie, I'll be honest. I just recently subbed to your channel from my channel, but I went back and searched on my history from my personal account, and I've been following you for a long time. So as I started looking at things, I was like, yo, they used to do these unboxing snack videos.
Yeah.
They used to be some of my favorite videos to watch.
Yeah. We did that for a while just because we liked it. I think we saw somebody else doing it, or I was really into. I come from a different community. I was really big into the gaming community, like retro gaming, and that's what I was into before cruising or anything. I had I had like a channel about that, and so I was really into that, and there was a lot of things that I brought from that community and brought it into that. And like they would always do like unboxing of boxes and different things. And so I was like, yeah, we should try this food one. And I think somebody else was doing a food one maybe, but we like, yeah, let's do these food reviews. We like doing them. And finally we said, nah, no more. We're tired of it. But
there were some of my fun videos because my kids we used to order Japan crates. So we started like searching videos of like unboxing snack crates and things like that. And I think how I found y'all back in the day was through the unboxing videos.
That's how we found Antoinette. We were doing some unboxings with our kids. We were doing I don't remember if it was snack crate. It was the one that would come from different countries. So my dad did that for the kids for a year, and we started, and we stumbled upon Antoinette. And I think somewhere in the algorithm, YouTube was like, okay, well, these guys like Antoinette. They connected us with, because that's how we wound up finding Greg and Felicia. Then we wound up finding you guys. And it's all been downhill from there.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean,
because we met Lovelace then. So
yeah. Mike, like I said, I've been friends with Mike for a long time. I mean, I don't know. I've just known him for years, and probably since 2017 or 18, I've probably known of him, but you know what I mean?
So I'm glad you brought up. So one of the things we like to talk about, and I don't know how much of our podcast you've listened to, but the whole premise behind this thing is like people watch our live streams, they watch our vlogs, but rarely do you get to know what really drives the creator, what the creator is like. So, it's kind of free verse, like if you want to talk about cruising and Real Dead, that's fine. But, you brought up, and I always know when you're in a chat because I see, NES Evolution, right? So, and sometimes you still put some stuff on there. I've seen like with figures and stuff like that. So, if you would just, open up a little bit about that, let us know, about your love for, it looks like just from what I've noticed, comic books, also gaming and figures.
Yeah, all that. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I like some of the comic books. I'm not really into comic books anymore. but I really got into retro video game collecting. I actually have like close to 700 NES, the original NES games. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I have a
You
whole
got
wall. It's
stuff
like a
on and
wall.
everything.
It's like a wall of the game. They're not in the box. Some of them are in the box. I mean, that's harder to do because a lot of times back then, when you got a game in like a cardboard box, you just threw that crap away.
Yeah.
I know I did when I was a kid in the 80s.
Yeah.
You
had your
know,
little
so-
sleeve to put it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That way you didn't have to blow on it as much.
Right. So yeah, I collected that. I've sold off some of my collections though. At one time I had like over 300 Super Nintendo games. I had almost 500 Sega Genesis games.
Wow.
But I've sold a lot of that off now. I still have the NES. But there's a lot of money that's what I'm thinking. Like, man, there is a lot of money just sitting there on the shelf. For my collection. I mean, some of my rare games are hundreds and hundreds of worth hundreds of dollars. You know.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, even as recent as Xbox 360. So, you know, I raised my sons up on the correct and the best football game ever made for a console, NCAA football 2014. And like you go get refurbed Xbox 360s, which are not that expensive. But if you want to get that game now, you're paying anywhere from $200 to $400 to get that game because they don't make it anymore. And they're going to re-release the game on the PS5, but it's been delayed.
Yeah, my favorite football game is the less realistic, and that is NFL Blitz for the N64, where you're doing like leg drops and body slams and stuff.
Yeah,
I like that. That's a lot of fun.
We played the crap out of that game.
Some
and
of the
NBA
stuff,
Street.
What?
NBA Street.
Yeah, like the NBA Jam. I like the best.
Yeah. He's on fire.
Yeah, I love
Boom
all that.
shakalaka.
Yeah, I love that. Man. I remember playing that in the arcade when I was a kid. You know?
Yeah.
I have a lot of fine memories of going to the arcade, putting quarters in, and just play. I remember when I think it was the second Mortal Kombat came out. I must have been like 11 or something, or 12, and we went there. And my mom just gave me like a certain amount of money. You know, I didn't have a bunch of money growing up, but like I remember there was a line, and there was just one guy destroying because like when you died, you left, and the other guy, if you kept on winning, you were on the game.
Yeah.
And I remember I put my quarter in. This guy beat me like quick as ever because I was just a little kid. I didn't know how to play, but like he was good, and he was just beating a bunch of people. And I just remember like standing in line just to get my butt beat at this game. I had no clue of playing, but it was an awesome thing, you know, and I still remember it today. So
I remember getting finger cramps from playing the Simpsons game at the arcade.
I love that game too.
Walk away and my fingers were like, ah.
And I remember going to like the local Pizza Hut, and they had a TMNT arcade game. Oh, yes. I remember just begging my mom, please, can I have 2 quarters to go play that?
Oh my God. And you want to talk about like games that will haunt your nightmares. The TMNT game on the NES console where you had to swim underwater and not touch the little electric lines or whatever.
Yeah, that's
my Lord.
Yeah, I love that. I had that as a kid, and I could never beat that. But that's actually one I do have complete in the box with like the manual and all that.
I love that game.
Yeah, I do too. It's great.
And another one that was kind of like off the beaten path that a lot of people didn't know about, the Noid game. The Domino's Noid game.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's kind of fun. And that's a Domino's character, like the character from Domino's.
The Noid.
Yeah,
they need to bring him back.
Well, you know what's funny? Other characters got NES games too. Spot from 7-Up, like he has his own NES game. I think I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he does.
Crazy the way they used to do marketing back in the day versus how they do it now, right?
Wasn't there? Sorry.
Well,
man.
And the other thing that's crazy is like there's a lot of games for the NES that were from rated R movies that kids weren't watching. Like Nightmare on Elm Street has an NES game. Friday the 13th has an NES game. Jaws has an NES game. I don't know if Jaws is rated R, but it you know, like there. Oh, Total Recall has an NES game. Predator, like Rambo, like these weren't movies that little kids were watching. I don't think. I mean, maybe they were, but. Like, you know, it's just funny that they made so many games off of rated R movies back then. So
yeah,
Platoon has an NES game. Yeah,
Bayou Billy, you play that?
Yeah, that game's horrible. That game is horrible.
Yeah, Yeah, there was so Double Dragon, that was a great one. Of course, all the Zeldas.
Yeah, those are great. Yes, yeah, those are all awesome.
But I remember when Super Nintendo came out. Was it Super Nintendo that had Mario Brothers 3, or was that on?
No, that's NES.
Oh man, when you could make Mario fly, that was the coolest stuff ever.
Yeah, with the raccoon tail. Yeah, that
was.
Dude, I remember probably 90 or 91 that game came out. I think it was 90. And I remember walking in my buddy's house and he was playing it, and because he told me, he goes, "All right, Mario Bros. 3," and I'm like, "What?" I remember riding my bike down there, putting it, you just back then you just put your bike in their front yard, you just leave it laying there, and then you run into the house. And I remember he was sitting there and he was playing the first ship level. You have to jump and it has all those cannons.
Yeah.
And I was like, and the music's like dum dum dum, and I was like, "Oh my God, what is this?" I was tripping out, man.
Yeah, so the first Super Nintendo game of Mario was the one that was Yoshi.
That was the Super World, and yeah, you had Yoshi, yes, and you could have Yoshi. The cape too and fly.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, those games were so cool, and I still we have the USB version of the regular Nintendo and the Super Nintendo. Here, my wife, Chastity, she loves Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong's her jam, man. So,
I do too.
Donkey Kong Country.
Yes, that's great. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So who's this little fella?
I love all that stuff. And that community that I was in is like really jokey and sarcastic. So when I started like doing that kind of stuff in this community, people didn't know how to take it at first. Like when I'd write underneath someone's thing and say unsub, they'd be like, "What?"
Really?
Yeah, they didn't know how to take it. Like, no, back then I'd be like, "Oh, begging for subs, unsubbed," or something like that. They'd be like, "What?" And that's just like a normal thing in that community. So people didn't know how to take kind of stuff like that, or I'll be like, "You're e-begging," or whatever, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And people were like,
"Your sarcasm is welcome here, sir."
They would like private message. Well, this is years and years ago. They private message me like, "Wait, you think I'm just begging for money?" I'm like, "No, I'm just kidding. Like it was just a joke, But yeah, just stuff like that. And it just, I've never been super serious. I mean, obviously, it's never been like super serious. I would like to joke and have fun. And I like to, I like to bust people's balls, and I welcome it back as well. Like I'm not like super sensitive where I'm going to get upset and stuff. So it's fun.
You put it out there. You got to be able to take it back, man.
That's right. You definitely have to.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're surrounded by a couple of guys that we can dish it. We can take it.
Yeah. Good. Yes.
So do you have? I saw like, I don't know. I guess maybe it's been about a year ago. You had like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle haul.
Yeah.
Or maybe you were going through some things that you had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dog's going nuts right now. I don't know why. She's begging.
Lily, right?
Yeah, he just got her, so that's why she's still adjusting. And but no, I collect the TMNT figures like from the late 80s and the early 90s. That's what I had growing up. I was like, between the
best
age
version of them anyway.
I was between the age of 5 and like I'd say like 9 when I was really into them, and I had a ton of them. And so I just wanted to collect them loose out of the box, not because those are really expensive. You get them in the package usually. But yeah, I mean, I just like them on my shelf, and just something I had from my childhood. I like to collect things from my childhood, so it's fun.
Good memories.
Yeah, it's fun. It's cool to look at it, and and a lot of it I got years and years and years ago before it like really blew up in price. So that's kind of nice that I already have it. I don't need to buy it now when the prices are crazy. Like retro toys is a big market. Retro video games, that's a big market.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, VHS is starting to really grow and grow. Collect a collector scene of VHS, and they're going up in price, VHS. So I don't know. It's kind of a crazy thing.
So Lovey is talking about a basketball Ninja Turtle that you had.
Oh yeah. So I bought that at a flea market. I don't know, 7 years ago, and I belong to like turtle forums and different things like this, our Facebook pages. I mean, one day some guy goes, "Hey, know? Does anybody have one of these?" And I was like, thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, I do. Like, never knew anything about it. I saw that it was really rare, and so I was like, man, I'm gonna go check into this. So I checked on eBay, and it was selling for like between $600 and $1,000,
Wow.
depending on what you have with it, like the accessories. And so yeah, I ended up selling it for like $800. So
That's
that
awesome.
was really cool. And I bought it at a flea market for like $2 or $3, like 7 years ago. Never knew it was worth any money, you know. But like to me, I'm like, I didn't have this one as a kid. It didn't really mean anything to me. So like, I was cool with selling it. Now,
Yeah.
if I have things that I had when I was a kid that's worth a decent amount of money, I'm not selling it. Like, I'm not just in it for the money, you know. I just want,
Right. It's the nostalgia.
especially if it's stuff that I had, I want to keep it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't care if it's worth a bunch of money. I mean, if I had I've contemplated selling some of those NES games, like I said, but like, I'm not hugely motivated to do it, but it would just give me more space because 700 NES games takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, but it's the nostalgia behind it, right? So the money's not really like the factor. It's just knowing that, taking you back to that memory of your childhood and all that, the nostalgia that's built into it. But I gotta ask, man, if it was life changing money, would that make a difference?
I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know how much my collection's worth. I mean, I I don't know. I mean, I think I know a rough estimate of how much it's worth, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say it's life changing money, obviously, but
No, but I'm saying if it was life changing money, like you said, if I had it when I was a kid, I wouldn't want to sell it. But if you had
right.
it when you were a kid and you got it now and you know it's life changing money. So like say you had a comic like a first edition Spider-Man.
Yeah, right.
That's life changing money if you have it.
Yeah,
Like,
I think I probably would. At that point, um, that probably, it just would make sense, I think.
right.
But I don't know, man. I don't own anything that's life changing money, so I don't know what I would do, to tell you the truth.
I think Michelle would tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? To be honest, she's never said anything about my collection. Like, I have my own room downstairs in the basement, and she doesn't go in there. She doesn't have anything she doesn't have anything to say about it. And I've collected a lot of that before we were even together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was married before and I got a divorce, and to help me cope, I started all this. I think it did help me, honestly.
Oh,
It helped
yeah.
me
Yeah.
do, like, going out, collecting, doing this, getting my mind off my first, my divorce. And so I started a lot of my collection before Michelle came into picture. So she knew what she was getting into when we got together. Because when you go to a guy's apartment and in his living room is this huge display of everything that he has, I think you kind of know what's going on.
Well, I mean, you guys got something special, though. I definitely can tell that. I mean, you guys are friends, and that's important.
Yeah, definite.
I can tell you guys have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, for sure.
So Lovey says time to grow up, Josh. I think Lovey's just a little jealous. He still hasn't found his inner child yet.
Hey, don't let Lovey kid you. The guy goes to the store and buys more toys than I do. So.
Oh, I know. If you watch his shorts, you know what he does in his spare time.
Well, he leaves his in the package, so they're collectibles. No, but listen, they are collectibles, honestly. Even the way I like to take, because me and him both collect horror figures, and I like to take mine out of the box. I like the way they look on the shelf. He keeps his in the package, which is fine, nothing wrong with it. But I like the way mine look on the shelf, out of the box, with the accessories on them or in hand. So that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a Foot Locker full of, I used to collect the little Racing America NASCAR cars, so I've got a stack of Earnhardt Jr. And then I also have a bunch of knives that's been handed down from generation to generation, but I don't watch NASCAR anymore, and they're just sitting out there. But the kids, they can take them and do whatever they want with them at some point. You know, it's
Right.
but yeah, I used to collect cards. I still have some cards, but not much in the way of collecting anymore. But I still find it very interesting.
Well, it's the crazy. Are you talking about sports cards?
Yeah, baseball,
Yeah.
football.
Yeah, I was surprised to learn that that's still a pretty big hobby. I did not know that. So, because my buddy actually runs a shop in Ohio, and that's what his shop does. They do sports cards, collectibles, stuff like that. And
It's definitely made a comeback.
yeah, I think the pandemic really helped with that because people were home, and so they were like, "Oh man, I'm going to collect cards again," and it really took off again for sure.
I don't know.
And they tried to do that e-card thing for a while. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
I don't know if it was the pandemic or TikTok, man, because there's a big wormhole for this card thing on TikTok. And if you ever get like stuck in a live pool, they have links. You can go buy a pack. You can watch them pull your cards live. Bro, it's so epic when you can pull like a Jalen Hurts draft card in a $25 booster pack.
Yeah.
So there's thousands of people in these lives all the time. So I don't know if it's TikTok or the pandemic, bro, but the card game is coming on strong right now.
It's so different now, though. You know, like, I mean, when we were kids collecting cards, you had your binder with all your sheets.
Right.
If you couldn't afford the little swoopy binder that you could buy at the collector store, you had your Trapper Keepers full. And, you know, and I would go in there 2 or 3 times a week and look at stats, you know. And like, but I think it's a little different.
Right.
And I don't even, my kids collected some cards. But, you know, for them, it was just like, I don't know, it was just a different feel. And then, you know, these kids today now, I think they're more into the Upper Deck has this e-card deal that has the was it CFT, whatever, they have value even though they're digital, which I don't understand. But
yeah, I do watch some people that like open up packs of cards and stuff sometimes. There's this guy that has a channel, it's kind of like a funny channel, but he unwraps these cards called Divorced Dads. And it's really fun. You should just look it up on YouTube. Look up Divorced Dads trading cards, and they're funny. Yeah, they're just like joke cards, but they're really funny. You should definitely check out those videos because they're really funny. I think the cards,
it's like the Garbage Pail Kids.
Because he's unboxing them like they're like, he's like, oh, this is a rare one, but it's you know, it's all made up. It's not like real cards, you know. I mean,
okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really funny. You should definitely check that out sometime.
It's like the dog's pooping calendar.
Yeah. It's funny. And the guy doing it's funny. So yeah, Divorced Dads trading cards. Check those videos out. They're funny. They're shorts. So yeah. So yeah, I don't know. What else you
So how does it feel to be a Lions fan? I've always wondered that.
Oh,
I loved Barry Sanders growing up, so I had somewhat of an
interest look at that.
Lions.
I have camera issues.
Oh boy.
Wait a minute.
Oh boy.
Well. So
I can't show you what I'm doing over here right now, so I figured I'd take myself off the screen.
Oh, well, listen. We have been historically a really bad franchise, I would say. You know, that's just what it is. We've always had, you know, bad luck. We've always had, you know, if we had a good quarterback or a good you know, like when we had Barry Sanders, a good running back, a decent, you know, but then we didn't have a quarterback or we didn't have a great defense. So like you could have the best player in the world, which we did, Barry Sanders, like greatest of all time, running back. But if you don't have some of the other pieces, it don't mean anything. You know, we 1 year, I didn't watch back then because I actually didn't get into sports until later in life. I went my whole, like, you know, young years and teen years, never cared about sports at all. Didn't watch them, didn't participate. I actually didn't get into sports until like my mid-20s. So first year I started watching Lions was 2008, and that's when they went 0-16. So what a way to start watching them. And the reason why I watched them is because I heard a lot about Calvin Johnson because that was the first year that he was a rookie. And I was like, man, I really want to give football a chance. You know, I've watched it before, like at Thanksgiving, because our family always has it on Thanksgiving. But like I never had much interest. But I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. ended up loving it, even though they lost every single game. I ended up just loving it. And then the year after that, we drafted Stafford. Things were kind of looking up. You know, we ended up getting Sue a couple years later, a couple other pieces. Darius Slay, who is on your Eagles now. He was first with the Lions for many seasons, and he was really good.
He did better in Philly. He does better in Philly.
But yeah, he was really good with us. Yeah, we actually had a team, and we went to the playoffs 3 or 4 times with Stafford and Johnson and those guys, but they just never could win because they always had a road playoff game. I remember every single one. They were heartbreaking. I was at the game. That wasn't a playoff game, but it was a Thursday night game, national televised, and they were versus the Packers. We had to beat the Packers to keep our playoff hopes alive, and it was the game that Aaron Rodgers threw the Hail Mary. So, yeah, that was forever burned in my mind because I was at that game. I hate Aaron Rodgers still to this day. Don't like the guy. I think he's garbage. Can't stand him. The only joy I had as a Lions fan for all those years is every season when they lost and blew it in the playoffs. And I loved it for every year besides, 2010 when they actually won the Super Bowl. But every year after that, they blew it. And I took so much joy in that every year because that's all I had, But now we're doing good. We're 9-3, which is I've never seen that since I've been a Lions fan. My dad, who is 64 years old, has never seen that. I mean, this is the best they've been since 1962. So the best record they've had. So, yes, it's really cool. I'm just happy. I'm not saying we're going to go win the Super Bowl this year or anything.
You better knock on that cabinet behind you 3 times.
But I do think we are going to, we're probably going to, once we get to the playoffs, I think we could cause some issues for some teams. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, we see what could happen. So once you make it to the playoffs, you see what happens. Right now, we're the 3rd seed. But things could change, So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So now that we've started watching the Eagles, Chastity and I, that may be the beginning of the end for the Eagles, man. We brought all kinds of bad mojo over to the Eagles.
You better get up out of here. Don't you talk smack, bro. I will send a fist through this phone all the way up to Smithfield, Virginia. Don't play with
me. Man, they looked so good. They came out and I was like, oh man.
Listen, they started out good. Defense played like trash.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Defense straight played like hot garbage.
Yeah, well, I mean, San Francisco is legit. San
Fran's got one of the best offensive lines in NFL, if not the best offensive line.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
when you can get a good 4 to 6 second hold in the pocket for Brock Purdy, he's gonna make plays happen, right? So we knew going into it that it was gonna be a tough game of the season.
Yeah,
it's probably gonna be the toughest game of the season. Now, we lost to the Jets. It is what it is, and we could afford to lose that game versus San Fran. I'd rather not would have lost that game and went into the Dallas game being able to afford to lose a game. Right. But now they need to play harder than they played last week. So I know the Birds will get it back. I know, we going into Dallas. I hate the Cowboys there.
They haven't lost at home yet this year. So
they ain't played nobody though.
That's the thing, right? So now they're starting to get into their season where they're having a couple tough teams to be playing at the end of the season. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. I know we're going to take the Seahawks and trash them out of Seattle. They flexed that game to a Monday night game now, so that's going to be a Monday night game in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna be messaging Bruce like your boys better be ready.
Well, there is still a pathway for my team to get the number 1 seed. So I will unfortunately have to root against the Eagles.
But just get comfortable being in the back, man, because that's what y'all gonna be. Y'all ain't been number 1 your whole life. So
hey man, there's always first and never say never.
So hey, Josh, so I also know from me and Captain Billy J, and Paul, we were doing the World Wrestling vlog there for a while, and we need to pick it back up. But you're a wrestling fan. You're not into AEW at all.
No,
I know you think that's hot garbage.
It's trash. Yeah. I tried, man. I said, okay, like this could be something. I gave it like a month and a half, and I watched Dynamite. I didn't watch any of the other stuff they had, but I
Yeah.
watched Dynamite for a month and a half, and I'm like, nah, this ain't for me. I can't stand Kenny Omega. I can't stand the Young Bucks. I can't stand. There's a lot of people I can't stand. And then when they botched this whole thing with CM Punk, I'm like, these people are stupid. And so I did watch the return of CM Punk on WWE because I do like CM Punk. I when I was into wrestling, watching it a bunch, he was a big star when they did
he's
that
the
whole
man.
Summer of Punk thing. And yeah, I enjoy it. Not now as much. I listen to a lot of the guys that podcast. Like I listen to Eric Bischoff. I listen to Kevin Nash's podcast. Those are the two ones I listen to every week. Sometimes I know he gets a lot of hate, but sometimes I do listen to Vince Russo stuff. I do like Vince Russo. He is the writer, from the Attitude Era, and
I'm in the cult of Cornette, man.
I really like Jim Cornette too.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how I like Jim Cornette, Eric Bischoff, and Vince Russo, three guys
And
that
they all
don't like
hate each other.
Yeah, but I like all those guys' opinions. Don't forget, Vince Russo was former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, along with David Arquette.
Shit stain. That dude, man, he wrote some of the most horrible wrestling ever.
But also some of the highest rated wrestling ever. Oh, no, there's no maybe. He did in WWF during the Attitude
He
Era.
didn't program it. He wrote garbage. And then you had people like JR and Jim Cornette that were like, no. So I don't know. Was it the matchmaking or was it the soap opera writing that he did?
I mean, the matches never draw the money. It's the story that draws the money.
It's the sizzle, not the steak. That's a Vince McMahon saying, right? So
you got to have a good story. I mean, it's proven it with AEW. You can have a million great matches. It's not going to draw people. I mean, have you seen the pictures of their arenas, dude? Empty, horrible.
Yeah.
So
I mean, listen. I mean, money's money, right? And they got more than all of us, so they could write the worst or they could write the best. They still making the cheddar.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
you know what Vince McMahon has always been real good about doing, it seems like, being the top guy there, is like he sees things changing before they change.
Yeah.
And he's not he will move and change and do things as you go, and he's not afraid to do some things that are on the fringe. He's not afraid to stab his own dad in the back.
Yep. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned Vince. I got to meet Jesse Ventura a couple weeks ago now, and I went to his Q&A, and he told some really funny stories about Vince McMahon, about when he sued him, and how Vince like hated his guts, but then when he got inducted to the Hall of Fame, he said he looked right at Vince and he said some comment about how he beat him in the courtroom or whatever, and he said Vince had a look on his face of like if looks could kill, Jesse said, but yeah,
Ventura has his own hate in the military world. He's made some stolen valor type comments that a lot of people give him heat for.
I really like Jesse Ventura a lot. I really like a lot of things he says. I really liked his conspiracy theory show. I thought that was really cool. And people got the wrong idea. Just because it was on the show didn't mean he believed it. He just wanted to put the stuff out there to, so people can see the information. And if they want to do more research and whatever. I used to really like that. But yeah, I mean, he is a former Navy SEAL, a veteran, and he did talk about that a little bit on the stage. He talked about the Predator thing, which I really love. Predator, I think that's one of the best movies. I love it. And he talked about
he has one of the best lines.
Yeah, he talked about how he carried that old Painless, the minigun. He said that was like 80 pounds. It wasn't just like a foam prop. It was like real deal, he said. So, so I guess we can segue. I'm really into horror. I went to a horror convention, and I met a lot of really cool people there. I met the Scream cast. I'm really into Scream. I met Nev Campbell. I met Matthew Lillard, who played Stu. I met Skeet Ulrich, who played Billy Loomis, the two original Ghostface. I met Jamie Kennedy, who played Randy in Scream 1 and Scream 2, and he had a cameo in Scream 3. And that was really cool. I met Kane Hodder, who played Jason Voorhees in several of the Jason movies. I met a couple people from the Chucky movies. I met Carl Weathers, which was really cool.
Cool.
Except for he didn't have he had like a mask on, and he just basically signed it and was like, bye. He didn't really, at least like some of the other people talked to me a little bit more. He did not. He kind of was like kind of standoffish. But it was still cool to meet Carl Weathers, meet Apollo Creed. I mean, that was awesome. His Q&A. I didn't know he actually played football for the Raiders, NFL. He was in the NFL. I never knew that. So it was really cool to listen to him.
He was also the original owner of the Millennium Falcon as well. Don't forget that.
Carl Weathers?
Yeah. In Star Wars.
Huh.
Wasn't that Carl Weathers?
That was Billy. That was Billy D. Williams, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah.
Dang, dude.
Lame. Yeah, my nerd card has been revoked.
So yeah, that was Billy D. Williams. But yeah, he was really.
All this time I thought he was Lando.
No, that's not Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers.
They're both still badasses either way.
Yeah. They're both great. So yeah, it was just really cool. I'd never been to a horror convention. It was a really cool experience. And Mike Loveless was there and his son Anthony. So it was cool seeing them, talking to them, teasing him. Huh?
Are you more into jump scare horror or like gore horror?
No, I don't really like jump scare horror that much. I think it's lame. Me and Mike get in arguments all the time.
It's cheap heat, man. That's cheap heat.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I hate jump scare horror.
I hate like The Nun and all this stuff no, I don't like none of that much. Me and Mike get in arguments about this all the time, like I was saying. He calls it, I call it that too, but it's kind of a dumb term, but like elevated horror, like a thinking man's, like it's a deeper meaning and there's more layers to the movie. Mike wants to watch a movie somebody just gets stabbed and stuff, and like it's a he calls it a dumb person movie. We don't have to think. I'm like, dude, I said, because I appreciate, like, one of my favorite horror movies is Hereditary. It's really good, and it's one of those movies that like repays you on multiple watches because there's just a bunch of stuff going on in this movie Hereditary. But he doesn't like it because it's elevated horror and he has to think for 2 seconds. But I like that kind of stuff. Babadook, another one of those ones that has a deeper meaning of grief, dealing with grief. Midsommar is the same thing. I like the stuff like that. But I also love the 80s slashers, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, Chucky. I really like Hellraiser. I don't know if you guys watch those, but they're awesome. Mike actually got to meet.
I seen when I was a kid, man, scared of the living life out.
Yeah, Mike got to meet Doug Bradley, who plays Pinhead, and I'm jealous of that. He signed one of Mike's figures that he had, and I think it said, "To Mike, see you in hell, Doug Bradley." I was like, that is awesome, cool. Dude. Like, I love that just because, he's Pinhead. And I told Mike, I said, I'm jealous of that, dude. Like, that's really cool.
So I have to ask you. So, like Chastity and I, one of our favorite films to watch around Halloween time is the Saw movies. Do you consider the Saw movies horror?
Yes, I love the Saw movies. I actually just recently rewatched all of them in October because I was kind of getting ready for Saw 10, which I really enjoyed Saw 10, even though they kind of they chopped it, they put it in place. I don't know if you guys saw 10 at all or if you guys care about it.
Not yet, no.
No, I haven't.
Saw 10 takes place between Saw 1 and Saw 2.
Ah.
So it's like an added, and so they
fill
bring
in the gap.
Yeah, so they bring back some older characters that are, still around and stuff. And so it's really cool. I think it's good. I think it's probably one of the best Saw movies. Like, maybe not better than the first one, or the second one's really good. But yeah, it's right in there. It's like, to come out as your 10th movie being one of your top movies, that's pretty cool, in my opinion.
It's actually tough, right? Because like you're not going to beat the first one. The first one was like the absolute best.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. The ending, you can't. I mean, that ending's one of the best endings in horror of the original Saw. Um, but like I was saying, yeah, I really like the Saw movies. I think some of the man as they went on, man, some of those kills got really graphic and
Oh
elaborate,
yeah,
and
got
they were
rough.
And
some of those are pretty crazy.
that's
Yes,
the
they
type of
are.
horror that I'm into, right? Like that gore style horror. Like
Right,
that's
right.
what I'm into. I don't do the jump scare stuff like the Nun and Annabelle and all that. I'll watch them; they're not bad, but they
Sure.
don't give me like that feeling like this could happen to me.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
And that's
Well, the ones that
all.
stick with you, like Candyman,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
The
Candyman.
Ring.
Yeah, like those.
The And the Candyman actually has a really good story about, because he was like a slave that um, had a relationship with like the slave owner's like daughter. And of course, that was really looked horribly upon back then. And, he was tortured and stuff because of that and killed. And that's the story of it. It's actually got a really good story to it. It's not just a slasher movie. But yeah, the whole saying Candyman in the mirror and stuff,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like legendary. I mean, it just is. I remember being a kid in elementary school, people would say that, and people would be like freaked out. You know what I mean? So like, it's just, yeah, that's legendary. Yeah, I also like I said, I'm a really big Scream fan, and I think all those movies really hold up. I like them all, in my opinion. The opening scene of Scream 1 with Drew Barrymore has to be one of the best openings in a horror movie ever. I mean, it's awesome. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it's really, really good. Very good, very well done. And yeah, it's really good. So yeah, I love horror, and me and Mike's channel's we're doing pretty good. I mean, we're just growing gradually. And we recently hit 1,000 subs, I think a month ago or so. So we're doing good. And we actually just interviewed a really cool guy that we met at Mad Monster. His name is Sean Clark, and he is like an agent for like Nev Campbell, Skeet,
Oh, wow.
and Matthew Lillard and Jamie Kennedy. He like is an agent, like he was an agent for Jamie Lee Curtis. For like horror convention. He's like a horror convention agent. He's been an agent for like a bunch of people, and it's just crazy, and like you'll see like some of these people in his videos, he does vlogs and stuff, and it's just like it's just really cool that he's just really comfortable with them. He's like friends with them. And but yeah, we did an interview with him, and it was really interesting. We asked him about the conventions and different things. He has a YouTube channel where he goes to it's called Horror Hollow Grounds, and he like goes to all the filming locations of like a certain movie. He lives in California, so like a bunch of stuff's filmed out there. So he can go to all these. I just watched the one he released one on The Lost Boys, which is one of my favorite horror movies from the 80s. And man, he goes to all these different locations, does a great job. If you're a fan of Lost Boys, Mike or Josh, I definitely would recommend going to watch that. It's really good, showing the locations and stuff.
Every time I open up a box of Chinese food, I think about the maggot scene.
Yeah,
every single time.
And Alex Winter, who played one of the vampires, the one that gets killed first by Corey Feldman in the cave, the guy, he went on to play Bill in Bill and Ted's Adventure.
Yeah.
He plays one of the vampires, and actually he's at the end, he's in the video with him. He's friends with him, and he like talking to him about the bridge scene where they're hanging from that bridge in the scene and stuff. He's like, they're at that bridge, and he's like explaining how they did that. It's really cool. I would definitely check it out.
I wonder if he's been out to Trona, California. So I've been out to the Trona Pinnacles, and there's been a bunch of sci-fi stuff filmed out there, but most notably in recent years, The Hills Have Eyes were filmed out there.
Maybe.
And
I mean, he's got
you
a
can feel
ton
it
of
when
them.
you're out there. Like, this place is creepy.
He's got a ton of them, Josh. I mean, I don't know what all he has, but he's got a ton of these horror filmings. He's got like all the he's a huge Halloween fan, so he's done like all the Halloween stuff, and it's just really cool. So, and I like that, so I enjoy it. So, hey, do you want
one of my favorite horror films that I just recently got done watching this Halloween was Get Out. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, Get Out's really good, dude.
That's some elevated creepy horror right there,
That's
buddy.
really good. That's Jordan Peele, man, who was
Yeah,
like
he
a
does
really
some good
good
work.
comedy. He's really
Yeah.
good at comedy, but so when he started coming out with these horror movies, I was like, man, this guy actually has a good mind for horror because he did Get Out, and then his second movie was Us, which was okay, wasn't as good as Get Out. And then he did one that came out called Nope,
Yep.
which I didn't care for Nope as much. And then I think he did the reboot of Candyman as well. So yeah,
the reboot of Candyman wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as like what I thought it was gonna be, but to touch base on Hills Have Eyes, bro. That's why I won't go visit her.
We're getting some reboot requests here, so some people are hitting on some things here. So if we did a live stream with the 4 of our channels and included Mike Loveless, it would be 2 Joshes, 2 Mikes.
Yeah. Yep.
That could get interesting.
Yeah.
Josh and Mike Squared show.
Yeah.
That could be interesting. I don't know how many subscribers we would lose because of the show, but
yeah,
it would be fun.
Yeah. You might. You never know. Yep. Yeah, Mike comes in and into our live show and be like, "Oh yeah, your ratings." And I'm like, "Dude, you had this many people at 25 minutes in, bro. So I don't know what you're talking about." We like to like joke about stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no.
Listen, when you got the
number
numbers
of
subscribers to get those larger numbers in, you can banter back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So like me and Josh, it's like, all right, bro, I had 6. How many did you have? All right, I had 7 3/4. All right, we'll take it.
Yeah,
it's all good and fun, man, and growing the community, and if it ever takes off, it takes off. But it's like it's a side hustle hobby kind of thing, and it
no doubt.
I know for us, for all of us, because we're all still small creators, right? But the monetization piece, it's good enough that it kind of supplements a cruise every year, so
right,
that's
definitely,
fine,
Yeah,
so
it's actually our it goes to our casino budget, but no, I know you guys are both travel agents, right?
Yes.
That's one thing that we've never done, and we've always stayed clear of that because we've seen. I mean, not to say anything bad about you guys, but we've seen a lot of hoopla in the cruise community with all like everybody's a travel agent. It seems like, you know what I mean. And I don't know. It's just something we never wanted to take the leap into. And there was chances years and years ago, because people would ask us, "Oh, can you guys book our cruise?" And we're like, "No, like we don't do that." You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're both,
and I understand is it like something that you guys really enjoy, or was it something that you thought that you
travel, right? So like with me getting into booking people's travel is because I love travel in itself in whatever. So like I'm constantly trying to cruise, I'm constantly trying to do whatever, but being able to book somebody else and bring somebody that magic moment that maybe never has done that before, it kind of gives you like that sense like I helped this family go to Disney and share that magic moment or go on their first cruise and now they're in love with it. And then you build that client based relationship for life. Like they don't want to go anywhere else. They want to work with you or within your organization. So it's nice to be able to build like that repertoire of people that are constantly going to book. Like I'm not a big travel agent. I don't have tons of people, but I have repeat customers that constantly book.
Sure.
I mean, and both Mike and I, we work for the same vendor, I guess, for lack of a better term, or agency. And, we could talk offline if you ever want to. But the reason I went with this place, I don't know if it's the same for you, Mike, but like it's something that we were interested in doing because Chastity and I have plans for doing what we call a pseudo retirement where, we're still going to work, but we're not going to do the kind of work we're doing right now where, we're like, it's just, we don't have to do it. We choose to do it and it supplements our income. And so it's like, well, being a travel agent, that kind of fits that because we fell in love with cruising and travel. And, we just got started, but some of these travel agencies, I mean, there's monthly fees, there's yearly subscriptions, there's all this investment. With the one that Mike and I are doing, it's, it's zero risk. And even if we don't enjoy doing the travel agent part and that doesn't pan out, there's still benefits for you as a cruiser.
as a travel agent, right?
So
like
yeah,
right
I
now,
mean,
like you can go on the site and book a travel agent rate with MSC, and it only costs you like $300 for a 7-day cruise for 2 people in the bath.
yeah.
So it's
But Josh is an MSC hater. He thinks
Oh yeah,
MSC sucks.
MSC.
you have perks. I'm just saying. I'm
He's
using
never
that.
even been on the cruise, and he thinks
There's one
MSC's
that's there,
garbage.
right? But like Josh said, the good thing with this company is you don't have to pay those upfront fees. So like you have a CLIA number that you're responsible for as a
Yep.
travel agent that you have to have every year. And in
Yeah.
order to get that CLIA number, you have to pay hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on where you're at. To
Okay.
get the number. The insurances and all of that cost a ton of money. So with this agency, what they do is you split the commission 50-50.
Okay.
So whenever you book a cruise and you get paid that commission, if you get $300 of commission for that sailing, you get 150, they get 150. So you're
Okay.
ultimately paying fees through your commission, right? Like you can look at it like you're still paying something out, but they're giving you all the training you need. They're giving you the
Yeah.
help. You have a team leader to help you through with things. And the great thing about it is you can book your own cruises through there, and you still use your offers you get because I cruise Carnival and gamble, so I got a bunch of great offers.
Yeah.
I'll book
Same here.
through there, so I'm still getting my offer, but I'm also getting commission on my own sailing,
Yeah.
and I'm showing
and you-
that booking.
We use and well, we've been loyal to him. We use a Carnival PVP, and we have for years now. And he's been great to us. He's went above and beyond a lot for us. And we always, when people ask us who do we want, should we book with, we always tell them our guy. And we've put his number out there and all that, and people can use him or not. We don't care. But for us, we like using a Carnival PVP. It's always been good for us, and we've only done Carnival. I know I was just joking about, I was putting the thumbs down to MSC. Honestly, I don't have any interest to go on MSC at all. I just don't. I'm enjoying Carnival. We're working our way up to Diamond, and we're gonna stick with that for now. Not that we would never, because we've had a couple of NCL cruises booked in the past. One got canceled because of COVID, and the other one, we just decided, hey man, we can, because of the offers that we get, we can take 3 Carnival cruises for the price of this Norwegian cruise.
Yeah, I'm the same way, bro. Like our brains work. That's why we're on the same page. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But with doing the travel agent thing, you get options throughout the year if you want to try those new cruise lines that they come and say, hey, look, right now for your travel agents, we'll give you this offer. Here's 6 cruises they can choose from if they want to come try out one of our ships. So that way you can have more of an experience with us, so you can help your clients out that want to book us. You can tell them firsthand what your experience was with NCL, Royal, Norwegian, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So,
and we've learned so much just through the training and stuff too.
Right?
Like,
so the training is the training they offer is phenomenal. But the great thing about it is you don't have to meet those standards to hit certain things. So like if you work for a smaller travel agent, you have to put all these numbers through. You got to constantly be booking. Well, this company is nationwide, so you have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people making bookings every day.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about hitting those numbers. It's there when you want to do it. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, isn't it a crowded space though, honestly? I mean, in this cruise community, like there's so, like I was saying earlier, there's so many channels that are travel agents. Isn't it a pretty crowded?
I think it depends.
I would say the water's polluted a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I would think so.
When you take the amount of subscribers every cruise channel has versus the amount of creators that are travel agents, there's still way more of an outnumber in subscribers than there are as bloggers.
And in our hometown, there's no travel agency. There's no travel agency here at all. So we are it, and we're really not out there as much as we need to be right now because we're still trying to build this thing up and figure out how to do it.
Well,
but we also don't just book cruising. Like we can book Disney vacations, we can book all inclusives, we can book luxury hotels, and
but isn't it something that kind of went away though for a while? I mean, I don't know if it's coming back or what, but it kind of like went away, right? I mean, because like you were saying, you don't have any there, but like I've seen other ones in towns and stuff, and they just closed down because
I think it's a lack of understanding, right? So, the days are gone of like okay, I need to book flights and this, that, and the other, because you can do it all through an app, right? So the
Right.
days
And
of like,
we book all of ours.
yeah,
So
jumping into a, so now you can book things on your own. But what I've learned, because before we started doing this thing, we booked with Mike and Betsy, we've booked with SCT, Greg and Felicia. Now we've booked with Bruce for another cruise that's coming in 26. The benefit that we get, and you may get this through a PVP too. I don't know enough about it, but as different deals come out and stuff like that, where it and Chastity's done a good job when we've booked on our own to go back and check and try to get those deals added to our booking, because they will do that. But
right.
like the travel agent will keep an eye on that for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the best piece of that is. And then also we have access to all of the codes. So you can put in all the codes and find the very best deal, not just what they're pushing out on the app.
Right. Yeah, you said you mentioned you used Betsy and Mike. We did too, of course, with the non.
Yeah.
We tried to do everything through them. And it worked good. They did a really good job, I
Yeah, they
feel.
do. Yeah.
Like I said, we at that point we hadn't used a travel agent in a lot of years because we used our PVP or whatever. But yeah, I thought Betsy and Mike did a really good job. And yeah, yep. So
Yeah. So hey man, we're at an hour, and I'd love to have you back on. This is another one of those. Sometimes we've had podcasts where we've had to probe, and then sometimes it's just natural, and this is one
yeah,
of those. So we definitely like to have you back, and we'd
yeah.
like to have Michelle on sometime, and
I'd like to
maybe
talk.
even
Yeah, maybe
have
we can
you
have
and your
you and
nemesis
Mike
Mike on.
Oh yeah, you know what? It's like yeah. No. I wanted to talk about casinos. We never got there because
I know, I
me,
know. Well, I
me
mean,
and
hey,
Michelle are
you know,
we're big
we can go a
gamblers.
little longer. That's fine, because I'm glad you brought that up.
Let's add another few minutes.
If you have time,
I have
we can
time.
go.
Yeah, I'm
So
just chilling at home.
I'm gonna kick that over. Let me go this way. So Mike is the casino god. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
every time you roll through the casino, Mike's sitting there. He's touching the screens and he's pop, 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 pop. He's actually a casino buzzard. So
Okay.
he hovers around people doing slot pulls, and then he jumps on and he capitalizes on the loaded machine.
Now listen,
That's
I
what
don't,
Mike
I don't, I don't do that. But if the slot pool ends and nobody hops on the machine, I'm definitely gonna hop on it and spend like $800 through it.
I
does.
mean, to me, like a slot machine, is all about timing and stuff. So, just because if you win, like some people think, oh, I won a jackpot, I'm not going to win again. That's actually not true.
I stay playing. I don't get up.
Yeah, you can play. You can play and you could win. You could sit down, win in the first couple spins. You could sit down and not win at all, and in an hour. It's just about timing and the way the slots set up. I play a lot of slots on the ship. I have my favorites. My wife also likes to play slots a lot. I will play table. And Mike, I don't know if you play table games at all, but I do like Let It Ride. I will play Ultimate Texas Hold'em. Sometimes I've played that. I don't play 3-card poker because I don't like the way they do it on Carnival, that 3-card prime. Blackjack, I don't really play at all anymore. I
prefer Fun 21 over Blackjack.
I don't play any of those because I found that sometimes those players on cruise ships are just like too serious.
They don't know the rules. And
I think they're too serious. If I want to listen, it's my money, and if I want to hit on a 16, I can. Like you know what I mean? It's my money. It's my bet. If I want to hit on something, I can.
Right, and that's people like the thing with Fun 21, right? So a lot of people don't understand the concept of Fun 21. So it's pretty much played the same as Blackjack, but there's a few rules in it, and there's certain bets or certain cards that come out you don't want to hit on, because if you hit on it and the dealer doesn't bust or the dealer gets close to 21, you're losing your whole bet. But if you don't bet on it, you're going to win that bet. But if you bet on it and the dealer gets anywhere near it, you're going to bust out. So you're going to lose all your money. So when you get people that play 21 and they implement those same rules in the Fun 21, it screws you up because they're thinking they're playing just like they're playing regular blackjack.
Yeah.
So I try to stay away from Fun 21 on the cruise because I've found a lot of people don't know the rules of Fun 21 the right way.
Right. I played that a couple times, but I never played craps. I'm not into that. Though it looks fun because it's always busy. I'd like to play roulette. I think that's fun, but I don't normally do that. But my favorite's Let It Ride. I've actually hit some really good hands on that. I hit 4 of a kind, 4 aces, and it was like $750 on one hand, and that was my minimum bet. It was like 5-5-5, so it's $250 per chip, per $5 chip. That was a really good. And also on the 3-card poker spot, I think I've hit a straight flush on that. I've been dealt a straight flush 3 times, and I've won decent off that. I think it was 200, and then I had a bigger bet out there. I think $10 bet, so it was 400 when I hit on that. But yeah, I've done well at that. It was funny. I'll tell you a story. Mike Lovelace is involved in this as well. We were sitting at a table together. I don't get too excited about winning $200. Like that ain't nothing. I'm putting that right back in the machine, like it or at the table. $200 ain't nothing. So I hit like some hand. Not saying that I'm like really rich and I can just throw money around, but I need more money, win more money to get me excited than that. So we were sitting there and we're playing Let It Ride, and I hit some hand. I think it was a full house or something, and I won $200+ and I was like, deal of cards or something. And Mike's like, man, if I would have won that, I would have been jumping around and screaming. I'm like, yeah, I don't, it ain't gonna, it don't get me going.
But it's the same with the slots, right? So like if I had a hand pay and that hand pay is like anywhere between $1,200 and $1,300, I'm butthurt, bro. I'm so mad because especially if it's like a 12-10 hand pay. If you're gonna hand pay me out at $10 over the limit, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Yeah,
I'd rather win $11.99 than $12.10. And people are like, "Oh, it's a hand pay." Yeah, but now I'm paying taxes on $1,210 when I could have walked away with $1,199 and not paid a dime.
That's right. On the non, I hit like 650 or 600, and then like 2 or 3 spins later, I got a bonus for 650. So it was nice. It was like over 1,200, but it was in 2 spins, so it wasn't right. It didn't have to pay anything. But then on the Magic that me and Michelle did right after we did a side by side, and we went on the Magic, and I hit a hand pay for $1,750, and on a $1.50 bet, and so I was like, oh, that was my biggest hand pay I've never hit a huge hand pay. I just haven't. And actually, that was only my second hand pay. I just don't hit hand pays that often.
My largest hand pay happened on the Carnival Horizon. And I was playing this machine, bro. And I'm like, you know what? I really want to play this machine. It had all these bells and whistles. It was just all this extra stuff. I think I was making $5.88 a spin. And this girl that I was talking to throughout the night, she was feeding. Now, I'm a big fan of pinball, the game pinball. I
like that one occasionally, yes. Yep.
She was feeding this thing $100 bills, Josh, at $25, $15 a spin, just feeding it. And she's like, yeah, I hit a hand pay on this for $2,000, blah, blah, blah. So I slid over to the one next to it, and I've been wanting to play it. So I started playing it, put like $800 in, lose it all. Put like another $1,000 in. Boom! $6,890 hand pay.
Wow.
Biggest hand pay I've ever had.
Yeah, that's awesome. Our friend was just on the Legend not too long ago. On Huff and Puff and More, he hit 12,500 hand pay. But he was already, I think, 2,500 into it. So, but still.
That's still
That's a good payday, man.
Yeah, not bad. But yeah, man, I would love to hit a big hand pay like that. Mike, I've never have. I think that's awesome that you did that. I don't necessarily bet high though. I just don't. My bet is generally between $1.50 and like $3.50. That's like my range. Sometimes if I'm up, I'll do $5 a spin.
The main time, if you catch me on a machine, 9 times out of 10, I'm betting $5.
Okay, yeah.
9 times out of 10, my spin's going to be a $5 spin. My favorite machines to play are like your Firelink machines. So like your New Moons or your Century Gold.
Yep.
Those are my favorite ones to play.
We like those.
Like the piggy banking and the piggy popping and all that stuff too. But I'd rather play the New Moon because I like the option to get the 6 free games or the lock and link feature.
Right.
And I'm a big lock and link guy. Like if I can get those money balls to drop, boy, I get so excited when I get those money balls.
Yeah, it's awesome. We love them. We play them a lot. I actually turned Mike Loveless on to play in those. He's like, these suck, but then he won, and he's like, oh, these are good.
Yeah. And I play it at a $1 denomination at a $5 bet. So you
Okay,
can
yeah,
bet
we
it.
don't.
You can play it at a lower denomination and still
Yeah.
bet $5, but your money balls are going to be low.
So what we do is me and Michelle, we like to switch the denominations often. We're switching between 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cent all the time, like back and forth, switching constantly. And we like it. It sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
You know, it's fun. We like it. Yeah, like I said, we don't bet that high. We don't bet five. I normally don't bet $5 a spin unless I'm up or whatever. But yeah, normally I do not bet that high. I just don't.
We don't come gamble with me, man.
We have. I mean, to be honest, we set budgets when we go on cruises. I mean, we have to have a cruise casino budget, and you know, if that's gone, it's gone. I'm not charging extra. You know, I'm not doing that.
You have to. You'll eventually start chasing your losses. And then you'll get off the ship and you'll be like, wow, 10 grand gone. Like, come on, man.
Well, fortunately, in the last, I would say, I don't even know how many cruises now, but I have not walked off a ship with like my budget completely depleted. I've at least left with some of my budget. Now I might have won like $800-900 and that's gone, or more than that, you know. I won a hand pay on the Legend 1400, and that was gone. Like, bye.
Yeah, you play through your budget and continue to play on, but you haven't depleted your whole budget. But if you don't set that budget in your brain or know what you're going to go do, it's a wild world out there, man. Like, you're gonna sit down and be like, oh, I can charge more. I can charge more.
So for me as a casino dummy. Because we go in and we'll feed it a 20 and just see what happens, right?
Yeah.
And then we walk away and we don't play anymore.
You should actually feed you should. I tell people this when they say, "Oh, what should I do?" I said, if you want a chance, like, no offense, $20 isn't really going to get you anything. I recommend to people when they ask me and Michelle, if I'm going to the casino, what should I do? I say, pick a machine, put $100 bill in, and see what happens. Put at least $100 in. Because I feel like you need to kind of
you gotta warm it up, man.
Yeah,
it's like your car, right? Like when you get up and you start your car in the morning, do you just put it in reverse and back up and drive?
Sometimes.
No. Well, and what happens? You feel your car lagging or whatever. You got to give it some time to breathe. Put that $100 in, let it breathe, and then win your money. That's like Mike put out a post with a video the other day, and he's like, would you say this is true? And I'm like, hell no.
No, that's bullshit.
I will not wait one day and go spend all the money. I would literally split it up between a couple days.
Yep.
More points equals more time in the seat. More time in the seat equals more points. So the more time in the seat you got, the more points you got. The more you spend, the more points you got. The better your offers are going to be.
Right.
That was where I was going with that, though, is the points, right? So
yeah.
What amount of money fed into the machine equals X amount of points?
It's based off the length of the cruise.
So, like, I'm pretty sure, like, for every $2.50, it's 1 point.
It depends, and it also depends on the length of your cruise. 5-day and shorter cruises, it's more money for your points. For 7 days or longer, your points add up faster.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how the point thing goes? I mean, I've talked to a lot of people that are casino people, and no one really knows how they determine who gets what offers. You know what you know what I mean? I mean, because we've been on cruises where I've gotten a lot of points and I get comp stuff. And also I've been on cruises where I got a lot of points and I didn't get comped anything. So I don't know. You don't know how it works.
No, we've put on Carnival cruises, we've literally put, I think, $50 total into machines.
Okay.
And we got, I think it was a $500 casino offer.
Okay.
We booked the Jubilee.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, so.
And here's the thing, right? So I get a lot of my friends ask me all the time, like, how do you cruise so often with these casino offers, blah, blah, blah. What is it you do? And I tell them, listen, I'm going to tell you for a 7-day cruise, I'm going to tell you come with $1,000 in your pocket and blow it in the casino, win or lose. Okay? Because at the end of that 7 days, yeah, you might be down $1,000, you might be up a couple grand, but you know at the end of that cruise, you're going to get a bounce back offer that's going to be well worth more than that $1,000 you lost.
Yeah.
And then them offers are going to continue to come in.
Yeah.
They might not be as good as that bounce back offer, but the more you play every time you go, the more they're going to see, like, okay, Josh comes to the casino every time he cruises.
Yes.
Let's throw him a bone and give him a free suite with $1,000 free play and drinks throughout the whole shit.
Right. Yeah.
Boom.
The drinks on us has been a game changer. That's great. I love having that. Because we don't drink like we used to, when we first started our YouTube channel. We used to drink a ton. We used to, cheers package, all that. But now we've kind of, we settled down a lot. We don't really drink at all. I think I had, like on the I had a beer the whole 7 days, one.
Wow, that's
and then on
impressive.
the Magic, I had none. And I had drinks on us free everywhere, on both cruises. And I didn't utilize it at all.
That when I get them for free, I don't drink as often as if I'm paying for them. Unless I'm on a cruise with Josh. Then I'm drinking like fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't seen our bar crawl videos, check those out at moonlightadventures.com.
Yeah. I did watch that. Yeah, I just don't drink like that anymore, man. I just don't. I used to, but I just don't. And like I said, Betsy and Mike, they held the bar crawl in the we went to the first one, and then after that we went to the casino. We didn't stay for the whole thing. It wasn't nothing against them or the people that were there. Just that's not our scene anymore. We don't stay out and get.
That was the purpose of the non-group group cruise, right? So
yeah,
if you want to be non-people, then you go hang out with Josh and Michelle. If you want to be the doing people.
We wanted to go to the casino and play, and we did. So
did I just say doing people, doing things, people? Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. We like to.
Let me clarify. You be doing. I mean, listen, that boost cruise was a little.
That was and then some of the thing. I don't know if you guys been on the Magic. Oh, you guys have been on the Magic, right?
Yeah.
No,
yeah, that was your.
Not yet.
I say unfortunately. I don't know. It's kind of love-hate with the Magic.
That was. Oh yeah, and I liked it. I thought it needed definitely some TLC. But what I did like about it was the smokeless casino. I don't smoke personally.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Michelle does on vacation. Michelle does like to have a couple of packs of cigarettes. She don't smoke like in normal everyday life, but on a cruise or a vacation, she does like to have a couple of packs of cigarettes for whatever reason. And so she liked that up there. And then I was down in the non-smoking, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was good. I don't mind sitting in a smoke-filled casino. That don't bother me. Mike, I know
that's the vibe, man. You gotta it's gotta smell like old ladies and cigarette ashes.
I've sat in a Carnival casino 7-8 hours at a time before on a sea day. Like an all day just casino day, never leaving, I've done that several times. Oh yeah, hey, we were talking about Saw earlier. Look at there's Jigsaw.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Billy the Puppet. Yeah.
So I was watching. We've been watching Seinfeld.
I love it.
And I noticed. So the episode where George and Kramer try to sell records.
Yeah.
The record store keeper is that guy.
Yeah, Tobin Bell. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
He actually. There's when you go back and watch Seinfeld, there's so many people. Like Bryan Cranston is the dentist in it.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are in that show as small parts or, a little bit bigger parts that went on to do things later. A ton. I love Seinfeld. I think that's a great show. I was just talking with someone today about one episode was where they liked people, but they had to wait out their marriage to end so they could date them.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, there's some epic ones. Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. So, but yeah, going back to the casino, we know, we're going to go in there and play. We enjoy it. It's entertainment to us. We don't go in there thinking we're going to walk out with a ton of money. It's entertainment. If we win money, yes, that's good. But we just enjoy it. We enjoy I think Carnival, I don't know this from personal experience, but I've had a lot of friends that cruise other lines. They say Carnival has one of the best casino like vibes. That's
Bull.
what they've told me. Huh?
Bull.
That's what and they've been on NCL and they've been on what's the other one? But they said the energy in there is better and the slot machine selection's better
Bull.
than other casinos. Okay.
Bull.
What's your go-to, Mike?
I've been on Carnival, I've been on Norwegian, I've been on Margaritaville at Sea, and I've been on Princess, and hands down the best casino experience with the best machines and the best vibe is Princess.
Princess has a bunch of 90-year-olds on it, man.
No, it doesn't, bro.
Wrong.
No, it does not. No.
Hey, we're doing
wanted to
Princess
want that
next year,
from
so
that spoon of bull. No, it does not. Princess does not have a bunch of 90-year-olds on it. The good thing with Princess is that the older crowd goes away at 5:30 and the casino's open for everybody. So that's a good thing.
No way. I cannot believe that.
Have one of the largest casinos at sea. Are you kidding me? They got a ship coming out with a whole deck being a casino. So I'm telling you from experience, I've been on 13 Carnival cruises. I've been on 20-some Princess cruises. My biggest hand pay may have came from Carnival Horizon, but most of my money won and most of my good slot experiences have happened on Princess.
Okay. I'm excited, man. You know, you and I both are sailing on that ship next year.
Yeah, some of us before others, but yeah.
Yeah.
You know, some people got.
I know, man. I know, but
a year to do it.
I'm gonna bring it home. I'm gonna bring it home to the States.
That's fine.
You know, you're gonna be hating when I'm on that transatlantic, man.
Oh, who said I'm not gonna be on it? I just said that's fine. I've repeated ships, man. I don't have a problem repeating the ship.
That ship looks amazing. That's one of the, you know, I'm thinking about doing a video, Chastity and I, on our top newest ships coming out.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know, that Sun Princess, that's up there.
It's a nice
I'm a big aesthetic guy. Like if I'm looking at the outside of a cruise ship, and like I'm sorry, Royal Caribbean fans, but the icon and the star, they look like shipping container ships. I'm sorry. Like, you know, there's nothing appealing there to me when I'm looking at the outside of that ship. That Sun Princess is beautiful.
It's tough, right? So like you've said to me before when you were on MSC and you've seen the celebration pull up and you're like, it's so basic. I'm like, man, I could care less what the outside of that ship looks like.
Me too. I don't give a shit.
Inside of that bad boy. I ain't hanging out.
It's just part of the vibe. It's just part of the vibe for me, you know, and maybe that's why I like MSC so much, because when you get up in there and they have the Swarovski crystal staircase, and you're like, man, like,
right? You feel that form of class, right? So I'm not knocking that, but you're talking about the outside of a ship.
Yeah, right? But it starts on the outside for me.
Less about what the outside of the ship looks like.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
What just happened?
Hey, you mentioned that you went on the Margaritaville at the sea. You know what? That's got to be the biggest gimmick vlog ship. I'm not saying that you did that, but like people are just going on it to make bad vlogs about this.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's stupid, and I don't watch them.
But that's why. So I think that's why Mike and I are so defensive toward MSC, because MSC has become that too.
It is.
Like, come on, man.
That's the thing, right?
Like,
so
give it a real chance. Don't just go on there just to look and pick at things to make a bad vlog, because there's things that happen on every cruise that,
you know, the fact that they're looking to find these things. They're going on the ships just to do that, right?
Yeah,
because they know that that's what's getting bought up in the cruise space right now. I'll tell you hands down. I was in a chat the other day and someone was like, "I'll never do Margaritaville." I'm like, "Listen, don't believe all the hype you're getting online, because I've done it, and I've done it with Lalita Loca. So if I do it and Tony does it, and Tony tells you like it was a good cruise, the food was good, the crew was great, the
food looks great on there.
It was a good cruise. It was not bad.
I don't watch. If somebody puts out a video on that ship, I stay away from it. I don't watch it personally. I'm not watching if it's a good or bad review, but I just see, you know, that people put out just negative stuff about that. Not saying it's the best ship or anything, you know, by things that I've read, but like I'm not watching it. It's become like a gimmick thing. You said that about MSC. I don't watch anything MSC because I'm not planning on going on that ship. I'm one of these people that consume things that I'm gonna go on. Or like I'm not like, we have friends that literally will watch, like if a YouTuber puts it out, they'll watch it no matter if they're going to go on the ship or not. That's not me. I'm not watching. I'm not watching anything that I'm not going on. And I mean, we're going on the Venezia. I don't know how to say the name. Venezia, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
We're going on that in February. Literally have done no research on it whatsoever. I haven't watched any videos. We haven't done any research about the porch yet. Nothing. We just have it. And I guess we'll see what happens. But
I appreciate that though, so we got caught up in some things here when we were trying to get monetized. I won't say what we were doing because there's some people that believe in these kind of things, but like some of the playlist watching kind of things, right?
yeah,
And at the time, and I learned, look, I don't want to knock it because I picked up some great editing skills on how to condense videos and all these kind of,
yeah,
all of that was good and it was beneficial. But at the end of the day, you get to looking at it, it's like it's almost a false positive because you get this little push at the beginning and then it drops off.
Yeah.
In your because you have 20 or 30 people watching and you're like, hey, this is doing good. And then so you don't really get to see how your video is performing to the entire world, right? So I kind of appreciate that, and we're the same way. I mean, we try to get on everybody's and watch a little bit and comment here or there, but if the content's not interesting and it's not of interest to you,
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't just be fluffing folks. I like how Lovey's like, look, man, if I'm going to support you, I'm going to support you.
Yeah.
But if I'm not, I'm not. I'm not going to just
Oh, I mean, he's done plenty of going to people's lives, just saying hi and then getting out of it. So don't try to say he's innocent.
We've all done it a time or two.
But that was like a big thing for a long time where everybody thought they had to go to people's lives and all this stuff. I've never felt that way, me and Michelle, and we've never felt like we had to go to people's lives to try to get our name out there or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I know that was a big,
not because I want to get my name out, it's because I'm showing.
Well, a lot of people do that. They'll drop in, say hi, and then you don't see them. That's exactly what they're doing, Mike. They're getting in there to get their name. And I'm not saying that you guys do that. I'm saying there are people that do that.
We've seen it. Yeah, I know. There's, and I don't want to go down any paths that are going to aggravate people anymore, right? But I know what you're saying, and you see it, right? So they're in there for like the first 5 minutes, and they'll hashtag whatever and get their channel dropped in, and then they never interact in the chat again.
Right. And I know you said something about not aggravating people, but like there's a lot of that stuff that goes on that we never like knew about because I don't know if it's because we didn't run with those channels or whatever. Like I'm just gonna say it because I just don't care. But like when people were like buying subs or buying views, buying all this, I had no clue any of that was going on until someone told me about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like I didn't have any clue because like we never were a part of any of that. Like I think we were like, I don't know if people were doing it super early on, like when we were starting, but like it was something that came later, I feel like. But so like when people told me that, I'm like, wait a minute, you can buy some. Like I didn't know that was anything that people did. I didn't know.
I'll tell you what I've learned through the whole ordeal, Josh, is that so number one, it doesn't hurt us, and the only thing it hurts is if we focus on it and let that be our fuel for our fire, right? So
that's right.
You shouldn't do that. And then the second thing is that some people do it for a legitimate reason. So if you're using YouTube as your platform, your sales platform, so like Nike, Under Armour, big companies do this, and they will bump their subscribers just so people will look at you as a legitimate business. Now, is that a shady business activity? Maybe it is.
Sure.
But if you're, I don't know. I don't see the point in it. I mean, I know it's easy because we all get the emails from time to time, and it's normally someone from a foreign country that says, "Hey, I can give you 10 subscribers and 500 likes," and
rating is blah blah blah. I'm like, okay,
yeah, exactly. But to each their own. If that makes you feel good, go ahead.
Right. I mean, like I said, I didn't know any of that was going on. And then once people started telling me about it, and then other people would talk to me like, oh, you can put people in this social blade thing. Not that we ever really did that because I didn't really care. I just kind of like got caught up in it. Like when people would tell me look at this person's subscriber count, and I'd go check it out. And I'd be like, whoa, like there's something wrong here. But like it's not like it hurts my channel any, in my opinion. Like we've always done it the right way. We've never done any of that. And Mike, you know, will joke around, but like, yeah, I put your channel in a social blade today, making sure you didn't fall into that trap. You know, it's joking or whatever. But like,
Don't
you
be
know,
looking at me, Lovelace.
huh?
Don't be looking at me.
I
Lovelace.
just feel so my one thing, right, is just that when you have people who have, so I don't have any illusions of grandeur, and Chastity and I, neither one do. You know, like we want to improve on YouTube and get better and make have an entertaining channel and all those kind of
Right.
things. You know, if you're sitting here now doing this thing, you're lying to yourself. If you know, it's like, hey, you know, I'd like to have a channel like Tony has. You know, one day that'd be awesome. You know, but Tony's invested a lot of time, a lot of effort. He's learned a lot about the cruise lines, and you know, that's where he made his money. He didn't. So my point there is like, if you're doing things like that to get artificial viewership, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you know, like if we look at a video and it has a bad click-through rate, then we're like, okay, thumbnail title, we've got to make some adjustments. And then if they're stopping viewing it after 30 seconds or a minute or whatever in a 10-minute video, our video sucks. And there's no amount of like buying subs that's going to change that.
Sure. So the other thing that me and Mike always talk about, and he always said that I was wrong, but he's agreeing with me now, is if you try to you put out long format stuff like we all do, but then you also get a high amount of short subscribers, which they are not watching your long format videos at all. Because I honestly think that. And Mike always would disagree with me and be like, no, you're wrong. But now he's seen the light and he's like, yeah, you're actually right. They're not watching your long format videos because they don't care about that. They care about the short satisfaction. Because you can have channels that are they have a lot of numbers, but their shorts do well, but their longer format does like a very small fraction. Yeah. And it's not that they're buying subs at all. They're not. It's just that they've you know, kind of built it off of shorts. And there's nothing wrong with that.
But I also think it's not completely a independent variable. I think there is a dependent variable to it as well. So what we've noticed is now that we've started increasing our theme park stuff on our channel, the shorts that involve the theme park, and then if we add a related video into the short, we have seen a pickup in traffic there. We have not seen that with the cruise stuff as much, though.
Right. I mean, we only really do cruise stuff. I mean, we do, some other stuff, but not really. I mean, mainly we do cruise things. And I just don't think there's a big, with the theme parks, maybe it's different. I don't know. We don't.
I think with horror, it may be similar too. It's because you got to think about how your audience consumes its content. And I don't think a lot of people that are highly interested in cruising, because it is an older audience.
Right.
I don't think they care about short form content at all.
Right. I mean, some of the shorts can do good depending on what it is, and some do really good. But like I said, I don't think it translates to view. It might translate a small portion, but it's not like a big portion of those will watch the long format. Yeah. And I think it's good that we always started with long format. So like and we do some shorter stuff, of course, you know, if the video isn't, you know, whatever, a review or on a food or what a review on whatever is shorter, room tour, stuff like that. But like our vlogs and stuff, which we still enjoy doing vlogs. I know some people went away from the total daily vlog. That's something that our people have always really liked from that support us. So we always do them, and we enjoy doing the daily vlogs. We just do. We like that. So we still do them. Some people don't do them, and that's totally fine. But we enjoy it still, and so we're going to keep on doing the daily vlogs.
Well, you said the right thing. You enjoy it. So if you enjoy the content that you're making in the format you're making it, that shows through in your video, and people enjoy it.
Yeah, we enjoy it. I mean, if I would hate to be the guy that owns a YouTube channel that has to put something out and doesn't want to. Does that make sense? Like, and I think I'm not pointing my finger at anybody, but I think that kind of got that way when all the cruise news channels blew up. kind of, and like you basically these people were putting out a video every day just because they needed the clicks, they needed to put the video out, they needed, you know what I mean? Because it was like even though if it was like, oh, somebody fell, okay, that's a story today. You know what I mean? Like, no, come on, guys. But it kind of got that with the cruise news. Now I think the cruise news thing kind of has backed off some. I think during the pandemic it was like a big time for it and all that. And we will sometimes, if something like changes on Carnival, we'll do like an update like on something. If it's like a bigger, not necessarily we don't do news, but you know what I mean? If it's like a story that we care about, one thing I do that really bothers me is when people report on people dying. I don't like that they're making money off people's deaths. I cannot stand that. I don't like that when they make money off. I mean, I understand, that's going to give them, clicks and all that. And it's a story. It's like the news, I guess, but they are monetizing off of it. And it just bothers me. It doesn't sit well because we could have done that too, because on a ship we were on, they were carting a body off the ship. We saw it. And, we didn't pull our phones out and try to record it. Not that they did, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people might. And, I don't know. It just bothers me. That bothers me. And I know it bothers Michelle as well. That's just something that's,
Yeah. I mean, if that's what it's taken for you to, I mean, your heart's in the wrong place. If that's what it's taken to get your views and your hours. Right. So,
right. No doubt.
But hey, man, this has been great. And we've got to do this again for sure.
Yeah. It's been good. Been really good, guys.
Yeah. So this, for the people, we're going to have one more episode this year, and we're going to close out our first season.
Cool.
And we will not have a guest. It's just going to be a recap with Nadia and I on what
nice.
we've done, what we've seen.
Nice.
So you got the curtain call, friend.
Oh, okay. Cool.
You are the curtain call guy, right?
We saved the better half out of the the horror channel to bring on last. So,
yeah.
I will say this though. So as of right now, even above Tony from Lolita Loca, Lovey's episode has the most views.
That's fine. You know why?
I know you guys compete, right? So we'll see what this one does once it posts.
He already told me his numbers, his ratings. I mean, because he's like that. Then I'm like, well, let's go look at your live shows numbers, Mike, and then we'll see what's up.
Mike's is going to stay there for a while. I don't think that's going to come down. There's a lot of
as long as he keeps farting, as long as he keeps farting on his show.
But instead of like y'all touched on the subscriber thing and all that, instead of buying subscribers, I put my money somewhere else. I got that new Pocket 3, boy.
That a boy.
Oh,
that nice. A boy.
4K.
Yeah. We've never been huge on buying. I mean, we had a GoPro 10 or whatever, but like we're just back to doing simple. We're back to just using our iPhones and that's it now. Like I remember when everybody was getting caught up in like buying a green screen for like their videos and like when they did their lives and all this kinds of stuff. We've never got caught up in that. I think that camera looks awesome though, Mike. We did watch some stuff on it. It looks really cool. Yeah. We contemplating buying it, and then we're like, we don't really need it, do we? Like we can just use our phone. Like that's like
and that's the thing with me. Like
a great phone.
A lot of my videos have been filmed with my phone, but I want to try and go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, like we used to use our phone, and then we switched to a GoPro because we were like, oh, this would be better. And actually, it wasn't better in our opinion. I don't think a GoPro does good in certain lighting and stuff. So it's like whatever. But can I say one more thing before I go?
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead, man.
Go Lions.
And with that, our viewership just tanked, man. Just tanked. I think Big Mike's froze up, it looks like.
Yeah, it froze over here, but I can still hear y'all. So.
But hey, man, I thank you so much for coming on. Let Michelle know that we said hi. And this has been great. It went very. I love having guys that guys and gals on the show that have a number of different things that they can talk about.
Yeah.
This is good. So we appreciate it. And if you have not subscribed, followed, hit the alert bell, all those good things, and you're interested in all the things that Josh and Michelle, Josh and Mike are doing, go on over there and do it. I can tell you they're a great channel. They're great people.
Yeah,
thank you. They deserve your viewership. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. We'll see you around.
And anybody that subscribe over there, we all know you're Eagles fans. So y'all go ahead.
We out.
Hey, see.